Hey, so this is Nate Woods with Peachtree Coaching Group, and I'm here with DeAna. So DeAna, tell me a little bit about what you do and for how long you've been doing it.
Okay, I am an event planner, and I plan weddings, corporate events for small to mid-sized companies, and as well as social events like baby showers, anniversary parties, birthday parties, that nature. But my background's primarily in corporate events.
Okay.
And I say that my background is in corporate events because that is what I worked with primarily in my corporate job for over 20 years until I relocated here to Georgia at the end of 2019. So now I've started out on my own business just to plan events and kind of have more fun with it and leave all that corporate stuff aside.
Okay, perfect. Where did you move from?
Texas.
Okay, awesome. So staying with the hot weather. Just
yeah, same hot weather. I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so yeah, same hot weather.
Awesome.
Nothing.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about who is the ideal customer for your business?
Well, I had to think about that one. I know who my ideal customer is, but you said basically, thinking about my best customer.
Yeah.
My ideal customer would be somebody who really they want to, in the private aspect, they want to, throw a very special celebration for, whoever it is, or they have a wedding. And they know they need help with the event because it's just too much for them to take on. And so ideally, my customer would be somebody who recognizes the value in having a professional to come in who has the knowledge and the skill set and can, take all of that frustration and stress off of them and save them a lot of time in pulling everything together. My best customers really are actually the corporate customers because they already know this and they know we need to have an event and we need to bring somebody in so that they can plan it all out and they have an expectation of what it's going to cost. So they're not just sitting there trying to, nickel and dime you.
Right. They have a budget for their event. They know the ins and outs, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, as you got into this event planning and transitioned to working for yourself here, what were there changes that you had to implement during COVID that actually made your business run easier?
Well, that's kind of hard to answer because I was actually just getting started when COVID hit. So, having, that come about, I was, just still trying to get my feet wet here in the area, learn a whole new area, and then, everything just shut down. So I kind of had to deal with, all right, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I can't exactly start my business because there was no event business during that time. But, I had to kind of think things through and think, okay, I'm going to take my time and just get myself more familiar, more educated as best as I could on the business aspect. But I also, like everybody, I couldn't just sit back and think, gosh, this is so depressing. And my business is all about bringing joy and celebrating life and celebrating those, momentous occasions in life, milestones and things. And my heart really just went out to all of the kids, the high school graduates, mainly because I just graduated my own son, the year I moved here. So all of the things that they were missing out on, all those celebrations, weddings, yes, those could be put on hold, but it was about the right now. What can we do now? And so I did have to kind of think out of the box. I started trying to get creative. Yeah. I said, what can I do to bring these people joy when they're shut in their homes and they can't, go about life celebrations normally? So while again, I was just starting out, so my ideas didn't actually ever go anywhere, but it was a very good exercise in going through trying to pull all the resources together and, and how to bring the celebration to them, in their home. And so I can't really say there was anything that that came about easier.
Sure.
It was truly a challenge, but I was getting ready for the, full on, once the doors opened up, which we all were praying for, I knew it was just going to be an onslaught of business basically. So
yeah. Seems like, with COVID, especially, and social distancing and not being able to have events, it'd be very difficult to break into that industry, especially during that time. But I think you're right. It kind of, everyone put those off for so long. And then when it's finally, acceptable to get out again or safe to get out again, everyone kind of came at you at one time.
Right. But we did get, the beauty of Zoom and
Yep.
being able to do some fun things online virtually.
Cool. So, we talked a little bit about what was going on through the pandemic. Is there anything that you found, in that time that you think is unique to your business now that you'll continue to do?
I'm not so sure if there's anything unique necessarily, but I will say there's something very valuable that did come about, and that was the more widespread use of Zoom and these online meetings, because it truly does make it much easier on somebody who does business all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily go all over the place, but from here to the north side of Atlanta is a pretty good drive. So I have clients who I have been on, had to go on the other side of town. And so using the online virtual meeting capability is great for business to have a lot of, lead meetings and those initial consultations before you're even contracted with a client, so that you're not wasting all that time, gas, and mileage to go meet with somebody in person, and then it turns out to be nothing.
Yeah.
And so that is it's been a very valuable, useful tool. And while it is best to meet in person with clients and getting to know them and their personalities so that you know whether you really want to work with that person and they know whether they want to work with you, that there's still the value in that as well. But the initial meetings, it's very helpful to use the online meeting aspect.
Okay, awesome. So what has been the biggest takeaway or learning that you've had since you got into business for yourself?
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Yeah, that one. I will say I had no idea how much was involved in actually starting your own business.
Yeah.
I've been in business, in the business world, I should say, for a long time. So I knew there was a lot in running a business, but when you start out on your own as an entrepreneur in your own individual business, you think it's going to be a lot more simplified, and it's not really as simplified as you might think.
Sure.
So like I said, all that time I had on my hands of trying to learn the basis of starting and establishing a business was that was actually very useful for me, because otherwise I might have felt like I was chasing the train and trying to do everything while I was actually doing things, doing events. So yes, there's been a lot of learning along the way. So many different, systems and practices to put into place and establishing actual business operations and keeping up with it. And because I am independent, I'm not at a point of outsourcing a lot of those tasks right now. I do it all. So
yeah, launching a business from the ground up, you quickly learn you have to become a master at almost everything, trying to get everything running at the same time.
Yes.
Awesome. So, along this process, and even through, your corporate life prior to going into business for yourself, who would you say has been the best coach or mentor that you've had, and why?
Well, I have to say I've had 3 people I can call out for that, really. I did start out with a business coach, basically not specific to my business I was going into. This is actually before I really decided to take the plunge and start my own event planning business. I was kind of in between leaving my corporate world and what do I do with the rest of my life? And I think I always wanted to do something on my own. And I actually did always want to do events. I just hadn't really come around to the thought of having my own event business. And so I started off with a business coach. She's pretty global, actually. I just jumped right in and went into this mentorship, not really mentorship program, coaching program, business coaching program. And it was all about mindset. And that was the first step. And I think probably the most important step right there, because it might have taken me a while, but I learned and grew so much through that program that it really truly gave me the mindset of overcoming any fears, overcoming any doubts, and just taking what I knew and what my passion was and putting it into action. So then when everything else aligned for me and I was able to take that plunge, I discovered actually a mentor in my industry, and I do still work with her now. And she's been very helpful to, kind of give me the steps all along the way, all that business establishment, all those steps, how to market yourself, just how to go about everything, and taking from her experience. That's the thing, because she was in the event industry for a long time, and she has a lot of very useful, knowledge from her own experience. But I will go back to my corporate world, my corporate days of 20 plus years. And I had, for almost 20 of those, I had an amazing boss, an amazing manager, director who I supported. And he truly was a life mentor in a way. So I grew up at that job, basically. And he's probably, somebody I still respect to this day and learned so much from. And in fact, I just shared something the other day that was talking about, if you don't ever ask, the answer will always be no. If you don't just go for it, you'll never go, move forward. And something else along those lines. And I shared that, on my Facebook page. And I said, I learned this a long time ago from my boss of 20 years.
Yes. Yeah.
So he was truly a great mentor as well.
Awesome. So what do you think the future looks like for you and your business? And do you see any main challenges you may have moving forward?
I think about that one for a second.
Yeah.
So I guess, what I see in the future, I do see the growth aspect. Right now I'm trying to look ahead, but I have to decide what it is I really want for me, for my business and my life at this point, because I'm not, young in the game, a little bit later in the game. So, I do want to grow, and with the biggest wedding boom ever upon us, until the recession hits and we see what that does to everything. Yeah. So I hear, I know I'm going to have more business coming at me, and I don't want to be sitting here like I don't know what to do with it. I want to be able to help as many people. I want to be able to take on as much as I can, but my challenge is going to be trying to find build a team or build a network of people I can subcontract out to, and helping to take care of all of that, and take care of all those clients. And so really, I think the challenge is everybody not knowing what's next. And so you have a lot of people who are, like I said, that whole onslaught of business after everybody being shut down for so long. You still have everybody out there trying to do everything, but then now you're starting to have people get a little bit nervous of like, maybe we need to wait. So just, I would encourage everybody, just live life and just just go on with it, and don't miss out. Absolutely. Don't miss out.
Absolutely. Awesome. So, what inspires you from day to day in your business and personal life?
Well, I get inspired by a lot of things. Music is one, but that's just a personal thing. Music always inspires me, even at the moment. But really, I think what I have found to be really inspiring is through the course of my evolving into my own business, and learning from so many people. I see so many entrepreneurs, especially, who have, and it doesn't matter what business they're in. I just see so many people taking their education, their knowledge, their experience from what they've been doing for years. And because they had to pivot and evolve into a different type of business when they couldn't be actually hands-on in person doing what they normally did, and turning that into useful information and being able to share their information. So I get inspired by all of the entrepreneurs who are so willing to share their information to help others, not just as a way of oh, I can't do this anymore, so I got to find a way to make money, but it's a valuable way. And there's so many more people out there who are at the point of needing that information and needing that help, and it gives us hope. Because like I said, I was starting my business as an entrepreneur right at the height of everything shutting down. So it gave me hope that, there's still more, there's hope for the future, and hope that we can still continue on. And maybe we just always have to be ready to think of new ways of doing things.
Sure. Yeah, I think surrounding yourself with like-minded people, entrepreneurs, business owners is hugely important. I think there's probably this stigma out there that people that run their own business or start their own businesses have all the answers, and in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's learning as they go.
Entrepreneurship and being a solopreneur is not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're on your own by yourself. I mean, there's such a network of people out there ready and willing to help, and there's nothing better. I mean, you can't do it all alone, really.
Awesome. Well, hey, is there anything you want to tell the viewers specific about your business, or what's the best way they can get in touch with you if they're looking to book an event?
Well, my website is DChristineevents.com, and that's the name of my business, DChristine Events. That's with the DChristine. And I have, basically I lay out everything on there on my website as to the types of events that I do, and I have an inquiry form on there and as well. And I'm booking already, through 2023. Because I am an entrepreneur, I can carve out my own schedule. So there are only certain times of the year where I'm actually open to do, open for events, because, there's all the planning time along the way that leads up to it.
Right. Awesome. Well, hey, DeAna, I really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview with me today. You did an excellent job. So, wish you the best as you move forward with your business.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.